Hi everyone, it's Rui. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the first video of 2026. I hope everyone has been doing well. It's been about a year or less than a year since my first Honkai Star Rail account tour. If you haven't seen the video yet, please go check it out before you watch this one. So basically, I'm just going to show you all an update to my account and updates to my character builds. Nothing has really changed much aside from getting a few characters here and there and updating their build, but I would still like to show you all what has changed since the last video. Without further ado, let's just get started. Okay, so let's start off with the account stats. I am still Trailblaze level 70, Equilibrium level 6, and the only thing that's changed are my profile pictures and my phone background. I think last time I didn't show you all my profile pictures, so let me show them to you. So a lot of these at the top are from Battle Pass, so if you purchase the extra 10 levels, then you would get a profile picture. The last profile picture I purchased was the Danheng Permansur Terre Lurking. Okay, up next, I'm going to show you all my missions. So I finished basically everything here, except for the adventure missions, which they don't really have like a due date or anything, so I'm just keeping them here, but the only changes that have occurred are that a lot of these are Penacony and Amphorius adventure missions. I still have yet to do this event, which is the Chrysos Awu Championship and the Run for Snacks and Glory. These events are like really cute, but I find them to be kind of tedious in my opinion to do, so I don't complete them until like probably the last minute or if I actually have time to do them. Up next are my roster of characters, so let's just go to the databank. So since the last time I have gained about 9 or 10 characters. So the new ones are Archer, Lingsha, who I just got, Ramei, the Herta, Tribbie, mydei, anaxa, phainon, hyacine, dangheng, PT, and yeah, that's it. Like, those are all the characters that I got. And these are the characters that I still have not warped for. There are some that I really want on my account, like Huohuo, Black Swan, Sparkle. So yeah, those are like the 3 that I would get if there were no banners that I'm looking forward to. And here are the warp banners for reference of when I'm recording this. So Fugue is on the banner, so is Lingsha. As for my current favorite 5 stars, I would have to say I really like Anaxa, the Herta, mydei, and Hyacine. So a lot of them are like from the most recent banners, or at least as recent as they can be. As for 4 stars, my favorites are still moze and Gallagher, but there's also like only one more, so I don't exactly have 4 favorite 4 stars. So the last one is Sampo. Now let's take a look at my inventory. So not much has changed aside from the fact that I have fuel vouchers from Currency Wars. These are my light cones. I have done super impositions for a lot of the 4-star light cones, so you might see that a lot of them are cleaned up, some of them are not. Same for the 3 stars. I've done mass superimposition individually for these, but any extra will just become fodder for light cone enhancements. Here are my relics. So since the last time we've received an increase in the relic storage, but I basically kind of have a similar amount to last time. Here are my other materials. Here are my consumables. I don't really consume anything from my characters except for the trick snack. This is used in the simulated universe. Here are my mission items that I've received, the valuables, and I still have yet to archive these, and 2 pets. Alright, so I am going to start showing you all the character builds. Feel free to pause anytime that you would like because I'm going to speed through some of it, but if you have any suggestions on how to build these characters better, let me know because I am a casual player, I'm not like a character expert, so any suggestions are welcome. So yeah, I will show you all my characters. It's gonna be really quick. First up is acheron. Next up is aventurine. I've been using him less because Danheng PT has arrived. I still kind of use him, but then Hyacine is like a really good healer, so aventurine has kind of been put to the side, which I feel bad about. Next, we have jiaoqiu, who I use exclusively on my acheron teams. He's basically only built for acheron on my account. Here is Robin, who I still use, but not too much now that there's a ton of new characters, but I still find her very useful. Then we have Danheng Permancer Terre, who I'll refer to as Danheng PT, and he's become one of my favorites. Here is phainon. I saved a lot for him, so I am so glad I have him on the account. I would have went for more eidolons, but I had to save my passes for like the next characters, so maybe I'll go for eidolons, I don't know. Here is boothill, who I don't really use much, but I hope to use him a little bit more. Here is argenti, who, despite having the highest eidolons and super impositions of his signature weapon, does not get much use on this account. I will try. I will try to use him more, but it's hard when there's other characters that are really good at E0. And before I show you the relics, I haven't really built him much, so apologies for that. But that's because, like, whenever there's a new character that comes out, you just have to start building them, and it takes time to get relics, so hopefully there's, like, some time for me, but I've been telling myself that for a year, like, oh yeah, you'll build Argenti, you'll build him to be one of the best, and it just never happens because there's always a new character that I want, or like I wait and then I have to farm for relics on another set, so. Fugue, I still use her in break teams, especially if I need them in Forgotten Hall, but as for like daily usage, not really. Remembrance MC. And I got the herta, and I do not regret it, and I love having her on my account. Here is Rame, who I redeemed from the store. With the thing that we get, I'm gonna put it up on the screen what it is. I just forgot what it was, so I decided to redeem her instead of an extra eidolon for luocha, because I've always wanted Rame, but I just skipped her banners because there was always another character that I wanted, so I finally have her. I know this set is not as good as the set here, which is Thief of Shooting Meteor, but this set has better substats, so like that fit my build. So yeah, that's why it's this set. Hyacine, who I finally got. I think in my first video I said I wanted Hyacine or Ho, like I wasn't sure. I decided to go for Hyacine in her second rerun. Here is Anaxa. I think he's one of the first Amphorius characters that I wish for. I really like him because he does AoE attacks, and I am a fan of AoE attacks. A preface is that I did try to get a 4-piece for him, but since this set is also shared, or at least used, by the Herta, mydei, and a bunch of other characters, the good pieces had to go to the Herta, so yeah, that's why his build is probably not that good. Here is Feixiao. Here is Blade. He is also in the enhanced state. Here is mydei, who I got recently. He's been really fun. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Like, I'm just glad to have him on the account. Here's Sunday. I use him on my phainon team, and he's pretty useful. I still like him a lot. I am so happy to have E2 Sunday. Actually, that sounded like I wasn't happy. I am happy. I really like him. I'm still trying to find a 4-piece, but again, it's like, I don't know why. It's always this relic. It's always the body that gives me trouble. Here is Dr. Ratio. He is missing a relic. There is a reason for that. It's the link rope, which I don't have a good one for him, so that's why it's empty. But these are what his relics look like so far. Here is luocha. I have been using him a lot and since I got him, so he hasn't really left the teams except for the fact that I have hyacine. So if I have hyacine and I want to use luocha on the other team for, like, say, Memory of Chaos and stuff, then I'll use him. The only thing that's changed from last year is that I got E1 luocha by redeeming him in the shop. Here is Sampo. I am currently building him because why not? But then I got Lingsha, so then I got distracted. But he's still on my list of characters to build. So even though some relics are not fully enhanced, this is just what it looks like. And this is Topaz, so now we're on the section of characters that I've, I guess, benched. So yeah, this is Topaz's build. I haven't really touched it in a while. I think I switched some things around, but this is what her build is looking like. Up next is Himeko. Same thing. I don't really use Himeko anymore, but I do have her somewhat built. Here is yanqing, and he is kind of built. And here's Gepard. Same thing again. I don't really have him built, but his relics are full, I think. Here is Yuan, my first 5-star on the account. I feel bad that I don't use him anymore because there's so many other new characters, but I do still like him, I just don't use him, which I feel bad about. But I do have him built. I wish I had more crit rate on him, but it's okay. Here is Bronya. I think I used her a little bit in Forgotten Halls, but usually I don't really use her. And she's the highest eidolons out of all the standard characters, so I lost 50/50s most to her. Here is Tribbie. I do use her. She's not actually benched. I just didn't mark her as the most used character, but I use her a lot. Here is Archer, who we got for free in the mail, I think a couple patches ago. I have him built, but I don't use him. I also really like his light cone. I wish we had like another skin of him like that. I think it'd be really cool. Here is Welt. I used to use him before I got jiaoqiu on my acheron teams, but now I no longer use him. Here is Hanya, who I used to use on my argenti teams, but now again, there's more characters, so I don't use her anymore, but she is built. Here is Gallagher, who I still use on and off. He's like on a team, but I'm not really using him much these days because I have hyacine, so he's kind of on the bench, but not really. Here is Misha, so from the last time, I don't think I touched his build, so the build is still the same, but I'll show it anyways. Here is moze, who I use on my feixiao team, and I just really like him and his whole design. His relics were kind of tough because he shares the same set as feixiao, so that's why some of the relics might not look good. I'm gonna point out some of the characters here that I don't have built, like Shushang, Luca, Natasha, Bailu, Gwen, Pela, Shuyi I have kind of built, Asta, Hook, not really. So these are like the remaining characters that haven't showed up that aren't built, so I don't really use them anymore. Alright, so that was my Honkai Star Rail account a year later. Again, if you have not seen the first video, make sure you go watch that and listen to me be not comfortable with the microphone, and not like I am now, and see like the differences. I mean, I did kind of watch my video, but I was cringing because I was like, oh no, Rui a year ago sounded so weird. If you've watched until the end, listened till the end, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!